How much do drums affect the music you listen to or are making? We're here to find out. Now, before I started dabbling in making my own music and stuff, I didn't quite realize how much a drum beat really does affect the sound and create heaviness, especially in rock and metal music, which is very much what I'm interested in. So what I'm going to do here is just show off how much it actually can change things. So I've got a sort of instrumental that I've created, and we're just going to do a couple of changes of drum beats. So we're going to go for some just simple ones to start with, and then we'll go into some more elaborate ones like the one I've actually created for this track specifically, and you can really hear a difference. Okay, so to start with, we're just going to listen to it with just the guitar and bass. Now, I'm quite proud of this riff. I like it, but it might not be to everyone's taste, but so this is kind of what it sounds like, but it doesn't. One thing I did notice is adding drums is it creates a lot of the heaviness of like rock and metal tracks. So that is what we're working with. Right, so now if I just create a very, very basic drum beat, so it's literally going to be 4 beats to a bar, you know, bit of kick, snare on the third, and kick on the fourth. I think he'll get the point across. So we just copy that along. So now hear the difference that makes to it. So intro into the sort of snare creates sort of a head bob rhythm. What I've noticed is putting it on just one snare on sort of like the third beat or something like that makes it feel slower and heavier. But just simply, instead of having a snare on the third beat in each bar, if you change that, kick snare, so on the second and fourth beats it's snare drum, it makes the whole thing feel a lot faster pace. So this is what it sounds like that. So this sort of, it brings more energy to it. I just find it crazy how much that changes the sort of dynamic of the song. Now, again, this may not be new to everyone, but I thought some people are going to be will find this interesting, because this is definitely something, as I've started to learn how to mix and things like that, I really didn't realize until I started creating my own stuff, that now I sort of am hearing it more in the music I listen to. Now, by all means, this track isn't perfectly mixed or anything like that. Just for example, this is the drum beat I have made for it. And I feel like this adds so much to the riff. And I don't know, I really enjoy this. I think this is definitely one of the sort of favourite tracks I've made. But I feel like, I think for this I've mostly gone for that second option where it's the snare on 2 and 4 with the drum beats matching the notes for the most part, and I just feel like it brings a lot of energy. And I'm a guitar player, and I feel like guitar riff sounds like, obviously there's exceptions, but no guitar riff sounds whole on its own. So once you start adding bass and drums and stuff like that, I think like that's when it starts to take its place essentially and feel heavy. Now, so that was an example for a track I've made, but I thought people would also be interested in a more popular example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to play the intro to Faint by Linkin Park, and I'm going to have how the drums sound originally, roughly, with me programming it, but being roughly the same. And then doing the same thing where it's like just putting it on the third, just putting it on the fourth, and changing a couple of things just to really show how much it changes the feel of a song. Okay, so that was my example for Faint. I only learnt that about 10 minutes before recording, so bear with me. It's obviously not perfect playing, but I thought it'd be a good example to show a song that people know well rather than something I've created to show how it really does affect stuff. Now, I definitely prefer the original beat, and obviously I didn't program it 100% correctly because, I'm not a real drummer, so I put it as close to the original drum beat as I could. But I did kind of like the every third hit snare. It kind of brought a heaviness to it. And that being said, I think drums really do bring heaviness to like heavier music as well. If you pay attention during breakdowns and stuff, it really does make all the difference to how heavy something feels. I'm glad I've started to notice. It's made me appreciate drums a lot more in music. But yeah, I thought this would be an interesting topic to cover. Hopefully this has helped some of you, or at least found it interesting in some way. But thank you for watching, everyone. If you want to see more rock and metal related content, then make sure to subscribe. But otherwise, I'll see all of you in the next one.